Alright, so let's get back into it. So I've recently discovered online through all my typical doom scrolling that I do on a day-to-day basis, this lady here, Caroline Borisenko. She's obviously been in the game for a long time. This is the blurb. Caroline Borisenko is a psychologist turned journalist exposing the radical left through deep dives, undercover investigations, and unapologetic truth-telling. So yeah, like I said, I recently discovered her, and I thought today that we would take a look at some of her stuff. I've gone through some of her stuff already, and it is pretty interesting. She's definitely done a lot of research regarding the left, and yeah, the findings are pretty diabolical. I'd also just like to say thank you to all the new subscribers. I've seen my recent video did pretty well. And also just thank you just in general to all the people that have already subscribed to the channel. It's very much appreciated. Let us get into all her findings. Well, not all of them, but we're just going to be looking at a couple of her things. Pretty interesting, and especially from the South African lens, it's pretty crazy to see like how much of this stuff is, you know, because here in South Africa we are basically ruled by communists, and it's so true that you can really see the overlaps between what they're planning to do in America and what they're literally doing here in South Africa already. It's, yeah, the overlaps are pretty fantastic and insane.
Just discovered your channel 2 days ago. I am fascinated. What is the utopia these Marxists want to create? Do they even have an idea of what they want to do if they succeed? Oh yeah, of course they have an idea. Marxists want to abolish capitalism. Capitalism to the left means private property ownership.
Man, and like it just, that's exactly it. Private property ownership. You know, here in South Africa, we've already got that. They're trying to get this expropriation without compensation. They're trying to get that thing on lock. They're trying to make that thing happen with every fiber of their being. So I mean, ping, there it is right there. Yep, abolishment of private property ownership. That's exactly what they're attempting to do. So check.
This is the only definition of capitalism that matters, guys. To the far left, they mean private property ownership, which is defined as bourgeois property, property that you can use to create privatized personal wealth. So they
privatized personal wealth, and that's exactly what they're doing. This expropriation without compensation is exactly what they're attempting to do. They're attempting to go after businesses. They're attempting to go even after people's homes. Farms, for instance. They've already done farms where they've given farms to black people, and once again, it's not a skin color thing, it's an ideology thing, and the black people have come in and they've absolutely ruined those farms, and yet they'll double down and still blame it on white people. Somehow it's apartheid's fault, but yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. So yep.
Want to abolish your ability to own a home. They want to abolish your ability to own land. They want to abolish your ability to own an apartment that you rent out as a landlord or an Airbnb. They want to abolish your all intellectual property. They want to abolish your ability to own a private business, whether or not that private business is big or small. They want to also abolish parental rights over your kids, because they believe that parental rights are a form of private property, because it allows you to pass property from parent to child through generational wealth, and that keeps it privatized and out of the hands of the collective.
And again, in the South African context, they hate the idea of generational wealth, but it's specifically geared towards, once again, people who have the capitalist mindset. In South Africa, you know, there's, and I think she gets into it in one of the videos, it's not the idea of whiteness as whiteness. They see whiteness basically as capitalism. So you could be a white person that is not capitalistic, but you like the shall we say the communist rhetoric. You like the communist ideals. You can also have a black person that is white in their thinking, i.e. they like the idea of capitalism. That's why to the communist black people, those kind of black people who like capitalism would be seen as whites, effectively, because they like capitalism. So therefore, they're seen as actual traitors. This is why we had so much black on black violence when it came to the idea of apartheid, for instance. There were so many black people that offed other black people because they were seen as sellouts and traitors.
Additionally, they want to abolish all police. They want to abolish all prisons.
I mean, man, you just look at here in South Africa, the police services are absolute jokes. It's full of corruption. They're ineffective. And, you know, it's not necessarily the police people's fault, you know, the police officers. It's not necessarily the police officers' fault. It's the system is designed to make law enforcement effectless, pretty much. It's designed to make it ineffectual. It's designed to take the wind out of their sails. It's designed for the police service to fail. It's designed failure. So yeah,
prisons. They want to abolish all money. They want to abolish all banks. They want to completely control education. No private schools, no charter schools, no home.
Well, I mean, also just again with the South African thing in regards to the education, you know, they're attempting to rewrite history. In fact, they've already rewritten history here in South Africa about apartheid and about so many different things that are continually going to make the white man, you know, once again, capitalist white person, seem as bad. And they're busy doing that and have been doing it for the past 32 years, and they're doubling down on it.
Homeschooling. They want all healthcare to be free for everyone and available on demand. That includes.
They are currently attempting to push for the NHI, National Health, NHA, National Health. They're pretty much attempting to, you know, make government government to basically loss of words. They're trying to put health services in charge of, or the government in charge of health services, so that, you know, they can basically just make it public and just not deliver the services that people need. And yeah, that's basically in the works. They're looking to pass that bill ASAP. So yeah.
Includes psychiatric drugs. That includes trans hormones. That includes free abortions up until birth. They also want to abolish private kitchens within the home, because private kitchens within the home prevent you from communing with the comrades in the general canteen. They love that whole idea of, yeah, and it's, you know, we in South Africa like to think it's just black people. Just the way that they think, where they call each other brother and sister, yet they've got no direct relation. But it's actually a communist ideology, where, you know, it simply because you and me share the same ideology, automatically that makes us somehow related, kind of thing. So that's why they have this idea of, they want it to be communal, because they want to keep the hive mind going. They want to keep this liberal, communist, Marxist ideology ever present. And the way they do that is by continually having you surround yourself with people that think, talk, act exactly the same way you do. So effectively, they're attempting to make continual echo chambers so that they can keep the message and the agenda fresh in your mind, so you never have a moment's breath to look outside of the sphere, and maybe you'll come to realize, oh damn, I'm actually in a cult. So yeah, tick. Also want to control the food supply. So what they envision is you get rid of private kitchens and homes. Everyone has to go to the community canteen.
Well, just in also terms of like controlling the food supply. You know, we've got so many problems here in South Africa when it comes to just farmers, and, well, you know, let's leave aside the farm murders, but I mean the laws and regulations regarding what farmers can and can't do, and depending on what their skin color is, that's definitely got a big part of it, about what you can and can't do as well. So yeah, tick.
To get their food, they get their food rations, they eat with the other comrades, stuff like that. There's more than that too, but that is a good overview of what they want. They are very clear about what they want. They're very consistent in what they want, and you know, that's basically it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, I mean, you can see it happening in real time here in South Africa, and yeah, the thing is, like, for for Europe, for the UK, for America. Like, I'm so glad people are starting to actually wake up to the whole plight that's happening in South Africa. There's a lot of base people that are coming around, starting to see what's happening in South Africa, starting to look at South Africa and starting to recognize that there's a pattern. And what's happening in South Africa is effectively starting to happen to the rest of the world. Obviously, our communist infection here in South Africa is a lot more, has progressed a lot farther than it has in America and the UK. Well, yeah, one could argue that the UK is pretty much finished as well. But yeah, I'm glad that people are starting to wake up to this, and it's about damn time, because this is an issue that is affecting not just South Africa, but it is affecting the Western world. So yeah, what the left means when they say whiteness. Okay, let's check it out.
And by the way, guys, for people who want to ask, does the left know they aren't talking about skin color? They're talking about capitalism? Yes, they do. The left is very clear on this. I have gone into leftist trainings and specifically asked them how whiteness relates to capitalism, and they go, oh, I have this all on video. I posted it 1 million times before. The left knows that when they are saying the term whiteness, they are not referring to skin color. They're referring to systemic racism, the system that upholds racism, or institutional racism, the institution that upholds racism, which...
So that's why you've got this thing in South Africa where the powers that be, the communist overlords, it's not the issue of white people per se in terms of skin color. It's the fact that it's what white people represent. To them, white people is capitalism. Whiteness is capitalism. So that's why I said earlier, you can have a black person that's seen as a traitor by the comrades, because that black person has a white mentality, or should I rather say a capitalist mentality. So automatically to the comrades, that black person that has a capitalist mindset is seen as a traitor. Man, yeah.
Is capitalism. It is not about skin color.
It's not about skin color.
Just to...
Okay, so I just went back. Okay. Yeah, another one. Why whiteness means capitalism. A quote from the George Floyd uprising. God, George Floyd again. Can't they just get over it? The guy was a druggie. What's wrong with people?
I'm Carlin Borisenko with Decode the Left. I'm an analyst and independent journalist covering the far left in America. And today I'm going to prove yet again that when the left says whiteness and white supremacy, they are not talking about your skin color. They're talking about the ownership class.
And this is the thing. They're still and this is why, you know, you start connecting the dots with all this stuff. You can still see why, once again, the communist overlords here in South Africa, even though they've been ruling for over 30 years, they've still got this mentality that they're convinced that white people are still ruling the country. That's not to say that there's a whole bunch of devious white people. That's not to say that there's a whole bunch of, you know, super rich white people that, you know, might have sway in certain things. But look, at the end of the day, it's the black communist overlords that are in the positions of power. They're the ones that are ruling the nation. The last time I checked, Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of the ANC, is also the president of South Africa. He's the one that's calling the shots in South Africa. Yet they continually obfuscate and they continually blame white people for white supremacy, i.e. for capitalism in the country. And fundamentally it comes down to the fact that capitalism, in their understanding, is the thing that's ruining the country. So they say whites. They say white supremacy, but what they mean is the fact that there's still capitalism in South Africa. That is the problem. That's what they actually mean. And I suppose to a degree, they're not wrong. Yes, South Africa does have elements, less and less each day, of capitalism. Because effectively they're getting what they want. They're getting a communist society. They're getting a society that is going to collapse under communism. So it's designed destruction. But they think they're winning, of course. obviously, because they've got a completely different paradigm of looking at reality. It's their perception is triumphing over everybody else's reality, and it's leading to disaster. Yeah, which they love, obviously, because they think losing is winning. So yeah.
The capitalist class, and literally, in this case, the American dream. Here's a passage from the book The George Floyd Uprising, which is what the leftists call the Black Lives Matter riots of 2020. And in that book, it literally says that whiteness is neither biological nor social. It is measured by the degree to which a person clings to the last vestiges of this dying and doomed country. In short, it is the extent to which a person embodies life.
And that's also what they always criticize of us of, you know, as soon as we, as white people, attempt to want to fix things, attempt to want to, you know, remove the bad elements of society, they automatically point to, oh, you want to go back to apartheid. You want to go back. They've still got this idea of, you know, we want to bring South Africa back to apartheid. So that's where they also have that same mindset of, you want to retain the repressive elements of society. Look, at the end of the day, even black people have said it themselves. Apartheid was better. Was it perfect? Of course it's not perfect. Newsflash, we live in a fallen world. Any Christian would understand this that's worth their Christian salt. We live in a fallen world because of sin. We're never going to be able to get perfect. Can we strive for better? And better and better and better? Progress, actual progress, not like the progressives say progress when they actually simply just mean collapse and destruction, but actual progress where things get systematically better. We can do that. The thing is, you can't do that under communism. But that's why they also don't know too much of history, because then they'll realize that communism has never ever worked and it never will. But the good comrades will always say, no, that's just because it was never tried the way we want to try it. The way we want to try it, it's going to be different. Okay.
Liberty and the pursuit of happiness. And in addition, it also says it is worthwhile to note, according to this standard of evaluation, it follows that many people who are called black must instead be judged as white.
Yep. Preach. That is exactly it. That there's some blacks that will be called white. Why would they be called white in the communist ideology? It's because they think capitalism is superior to communism. They're seen as traitors.
Yes, folks, under this system, black people can be white too. Thanks to Musican for putting this information out there for us. Follow him on Twitter.
Preach.
He does a great job of covering the books of the far.
Preach. Okay, 2 left. Yeah, man, this stuff is awesome. Yeah, you should really check out her channel. It's really, really good. Absolute proof that whiteness means capitalism, according to the left. Alright, here we go. Let's check this out.
Am I about to be completely vindicated on everything that I've been yelling at conservatives about for like years?
Probably.
Am I about to have a total vindication moment thanks to the black socialist on this stupid show? Let's find out.
A supremacy of whiteness versus people who understand that there should be an egalitarianism. There should be an equality.
We are becoming the new white supremacists.
We are.
We've been putting them on a pedestal.
We are.
We feel like we can't do anything.
No, it's not that we're putting them. It's not that we're putting them on a pedestal.
So wait, just understand. So the one on the right is saying we're becoming the new white supremacists. So according to the communist ideology, that's seen as a bad thing because white supremacist automatically means capitalism. So the way I'm understanding it is that one on the right, therefore, has a capitalist brain. The one on the left doesn't like that. Because maybe she's a proper comrade. A full sold out Kool-Aid drinking comrade. Okay, let's carry on.
It's that we are joining them and instead weaponizing our blackness against our people. When we do what you're saying, we are saying, I am better because I figured it out, and so you're the problem because you didn't figure
But
it
Amanda,
out.
what about if I believe that the American dream is, I have a right to that as well? Is that me joining white people, or is that me saying, you know what, I
What's
want
the
a life for
American
my
dream?
The American dream for me, because it may look different from other people. Some people it's a boss chick. For me, I want my kids to grow up in a wonderful neighborhood. I want them to go to college.
So it's already the fact that, you know, you wanting to subscribe to the idea of the American dream, that is you wanting to subscribe to the ideals of capitalism. So she would probably be seen as a traitor in the communist mindset because she still wants to go back under the capitalist system. She still wants to adopt the capitalist mindset with the kids, nuclear family, white picket fence, all the good things that people would aspire to, and, you know, think that generally that kind of stuff does make flourishing societies. That is seen as traitors because you want to adopt the evil system of capitalism in their brain. Yeah, so it's a completely different mindset. It's a completely different reality that they're living in.
College. I want to have a 401k. I want to do this. I want to do that. So I feel like a lot of times in the Black community, we associate anything that's right or that's just or that's striving forward with whiteness. So when you say that we're working with
it's whiteness, it's capitalism. And I think that's what we have to.
Damn. Yeah. So anything that's considered right and just, and again, that's why it's a completely different way of thinking. We like to think that they're actually dumb. Like, I guess conservatives, Christians, like, I've still got a lot to learn about this kind of stuff. I mean, she's clearly done her research and she's clearly on the money, this white lady. But yeah, they're not dumb. It's just, it's diabolical. You know, it's of the devil. Communism is of the devil. Yeah, it's evil because it usurps everything that Christianity's built, which is, you know, it's fundamentally Christianity has built the West. It's like that. So communism it is of the devil and it is from hell because it completely wants to uproot that, because right and just to the communist mindset is seen as evil. And I think it's Paul in the Bible that talks, you know, in the last days they'll call good evil and evil good. So yeah, I mean, this is also proving the Bible right, funnily enough. Atheists get wrecked.
To understand the difference of the concept of capitalism always is grounded in exploitation.
But Amanda, we're sitting here benefiting from capitalism, and you know that because you would.
I understand that we are benefiting. I understand that we are benefiting from capitalism, but I also understand that we would have other people and a majority of people benefit if we were not solely capitalist. That is what it means to be.
That's exactly. I'm so glad that she brought that up, because if she just decided to do her research and came to honest conclusions without her weird perception of reality, she could just look at South Africa as a prime example. She could look at South Africa and say, you know what, all the black people, all the black comrades and communists here in South Africa, they're all about redress. They've been all about wanting to equal the playing field for the past 32 years. It's failed miserably. There is far more unemployment now than there was under apartheid. Far more. You can Google the stats yourself. I've talked about it in videos before. So, if it is the case that communism is so much more superior, wouldn't there be evidence to prove that it is superior as they claim? Yet it's not. It always ends in failure. That's why there's more black people unemployed in South Africa now, and more black people are struggling far more than they were under capitalist apartheid. Amazing.
Be a black radical is to understand that I can benefit as well as others.
So, Amanda, what is your solution then?
Are you telling me that the black radical is literally saying whiteness is not about skin color, whiteness is about capitalism?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Black
Can I
delusional.
get a moment of vindication for the years that I have been screaming this at the conservative right? Every time they're like, the left hates white people, the left hates white people, the left hates white people, the left hates white people. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Is that what's actually going on here, or is it something else? Listen again.
I want my kids to grow up in a wonderful neighborhood. I want them to go to college. I want to have a 401k. I want to do this. I want to do that. So I feel like a lot of times in the Black community, we associate anything that's right or that's just or that's striving forward with whiteness. So when you say that we're working with them,
it's whiteness, it's capitalism. And I think that's what we have to understand the difference of. The concept of capitalism always is grounded in exploitation.
I win. I win. I win the fight. This is the clip to end all clips. Every single time someone tells me whiteness doesn't mean capitalism, we are posting this clip right in their replies from now on. I just won the internet. Everyone else can fuck off. I've been saying this for years and years and years, and everyone laughed at me, and they said I was stupid, and they said I was crazy, and they smeared me on the internet, and they doxed my college boyfriend to try to get revenge, but I was right the entire time, assholes. Thank you. I appreciate the super chat. Boom.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
I win. I win the internet.
I wouldn't need Desmond. Wait, what's this now?
I'm Colin Burris.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be doing that one today. Okay, so the last one I'm going to be doing... Why the left wants to abolish the police, man. Another thingy that's happening in South Africa. Yeah.
Organizing against and in response to the police have tremendous explosive potential that can uncork all the miseries
and so this guy must be a leftist, obviously.
Of capitalist society.
What's that?
And that police function as a special instance of the miseries and lack of democracy of capitalist society. Explosive potential that can uncork all the miseries and lack of democracy of capitalist society. And that police function as a special institution of capitalist society, the main tool of the ruling class used to maintain and reproduce their rule. What follows from that is that and
this is exactly why, you know, I know in America, it's the whole idea of defund the police, defund the police. Here in South Africa, that's happened. They basically defunded the police. That's why you've got, you know, so much police corruption. That's why you've got so many issues with the police. It's because what the leftists in America are advocating for is what has been achieved here in South Africa. The dismantling of the police. That's why they're so ineffective. That's why they can't do their jobs. That's why there's so much corruption in the police force. It's, yeah. We are you guys in maybe 10 to 15 years, you know, if Trump like really doesn't sort out America like proper. And still the thing is, you know, it's the left is always trying to weasel their way into everything because they are about dismantling the West and i.e. capitalism. Yeah, it's crazy to see this. I mean, what's coming out of their mouth is exactly what's happening here in South Africa. Exactly. Yeah.
Only coherent way to think about getting rid of the police is connected to challenging the capitalist state. And inversely, if you are desiring to end the system of capitalism, you all come up against the need then is to abolish the police. So what is the role of the police? What is their social function in capitalism? And then
the thing is, here in South Africa, yeah, they're talking about the whole idea of defunding the police, abolishing the police. You don't necessarily have to abolish them. All you have to do is just siphon off the money. Just make it just make them incapable of doing their job. That's what they've done here in South Africa. The police are still operating, but it's fundamentally they can't do their jobs effectively because there's not enough money. Not enough money is being pumped into the police forces to do their jobs effectively. So it's, yeah, it is like a systematic decline. They've purposely thought about ways, not necessarily to abolish the police, but simply just to make the police effectively ineffective, pretty much.
What conclusions can we draw from that? The concept of crime, first of all, is a class concept. World-threatening pollution, internment camp.
The concept of crime is a class concept. The concept of crime is a class concept. So yeah, it's the rich people don't commit crimes. It's only the poor people, or are they attempting to? The concept of crime is a class concept. Okay, I don't quite understand this leftist jargon.
The concept of crime, first of all, is a class concept. World-threatening pollution, internment camps, slavery, and war, all conducted by the ruling class, are usually legal, while other social phenomenon that make
okay. So it's just the idea of, it is the idea of, the police force is there to oppress, the common folk. So it's got nothing in their understanding. It's got nothing necessarily to do with that they're attempting to enforce the law when bad people do bad things. No. It's the man always trying to keep you down. In their understanding. Right. Okay. So it's another form of control in their understanding. Yet they're the ones that are all about the control. Okay.
All arrests, like vagrancy, informal economies, etc., are considered illegal. Even things as innocuous as crossing an arbitrary border, of course, is criminalized if you're a working class person while corporations freely flit around the globe. Criminal justice, as Bolshevik legal theorist Yevgeny Pashikanis put it, is, quote, organized class terror. In crisis situations like mental health and domestic violence, police aren't a solution to social problems, they are a social problem.
Okay.
So what's their function?
So they're not a solution to the social problems, they are the social problem. So any idea of law enforcement, any idea of trying to keep law and order, to them that is considered oppression. That is part of the problem. So they effectively want lawlessness. I'm just trying to think, in what society would lawlessness ever lead to security, prosperity, progress? They love to be about progress. Without laws and order and that kind of thing, I can't imagine any society that's actually going to be a great society. I mean, again, South Africa, there's more lawlessness now than there ever was under apartheid. And sure, under apartheid, yes, there was more laws, and that's what made the society better. Once again, apartheid wasn't perfect. Was it better? It was better. So yeah, they want chaos, and they think chaos is progress. Yeah, okay.
Right. Their function is to solve a problem for the ruling class that is presented to them by the system of capitalism. A solution that, to quote police theorist Sidney Herring, is to be a, quote, full-time, permanent force capable of continually asserting the power of the capitalist state up and down every street in every city. The police are unique and I would argue essential to capitalism. This is because of how they have been the agreed-upon solution for certain problems capitalism creates for the ruling class. So a key function of the modern police force was, simply put, to manage this contradiction on behalf of the ruling class. So because of these reasons, the police have become the preferred institution of capitalist states all across the world to secure order and repress resistance. So when we talk of the police as a preferred institution,
like some resistance, it's good it's good to resist this kind of stuff, because this kind of stuff historically has led to chaos. Communist China, Communist Russia, Stalin, Mao, Lenin, this stuff needs to be resisted. Yes, with force. Man, okay.
Don't just mean that there's a state that exists separate with an appendage body that is the police. The police are at the core of the state. So states at their core are special bodies of armed men, and every capitalist state is a police state. So one of the strengths of the abolition tradition is how it has shown that reforming the police overall is impossible, and that certain reforms of the police can actually be counterproductive and expand or entrench the police's ability to do violence, I think. So if we're serious about getting rid of the system of capitalism, reclaiming the near infinite wealth that the tiny minority of the ultra-rich have stolen from us for generations,
ultra-rich,
we cannot go around and dodge this fact. A subpoint to this is also why we need to understand that cops are neither workers nor is there police.
Yet the commies are the ultra-rich.
Sub-arguments that I'll bring up in conversation that I'm not going to go into this fact. A subpoint to this is also why we need to understand that cops are neither workers nor is there police under socialism. Sub-arguments that we can bring up in conversation that I'm not going to go into now. The project of police abolition is a revolutionary task that comes into contest with the capitalist state. It'd be foolish to underestimate the fury of a capitalist class whose entire existence is based on slavery, genocide, and the most antisocial, selfish, greedy, and violent acts the world has ever known, that they're just going to stand aside.
Yet these are the people that are the most controlling. These are the people that do the most damage. But I understand it's because the wiring in their brain is completely different. Their brain has been rewired. It's been re-engineered. Like the Bible says. They call good evil and evil good. Like the devil is continually under this deception. The devil is like the ultimate communist because he is convinced he is fighting on the side of good and he's fighting against God, Jesus, Trinity, because that is evil to him. So I completely understand this. It's insane, but I understand it.
Resolving this requires revolutionary transformation or rupture at the level of the state. The breaking of state power and its replacement by democratic popular rule is necessary for the breaking of police power. They are indeed self-same.
Man. See what the left doesn't want you to see. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all from me. Check out her channel. And yeah, man, so yeah, the commies, this is, and once again, I'm so thankful, I'm so grateful for the fact that, you know, the UK, Europe, people in America, they're starting to wake up to it because they're starting to see what's happening and they're starting to pay attention to what's happening in South Africa, because individuals like her and individuals like most of the people I cover can pretty much see the pattern, and they can see the fact that South Africa's at the forefront of what they are catching up to because of the left, because of the commies, and yeah, because of Islam as well. Unfortunately, that's a huge problem in the West. Not so much here, because, you know, we don't really have as many fancy things in our society, isn't as illustrious as, you know, the UK, Europe, America is. But that's simply because we've had the communists in power a lot longer than you guys have, I guess. But UK is catching up with Stormer and all that kind of stuff, so hopefully Rupert Lowe can do a thing there and sort that out. And yeah, hopefully Trump will also double down and become even more extreme than he needs to, or he's currently doing at present. But yeah, I think it's good to expose ourselves to this, to learn about what's going on. But yeah, anyway, folks, that's pretty much all from me. I'll check you on the next one. Cheers.